then.
Oh, fine.
The image shifted to reveal two massive ships against the backdrop of a red dwarf sun and a sprawl of dull planets, moons, planetoids, and moonlets and asteroids and gas ejecta from two looming gas giants. Oh, and the looming conveniently cloudy nearby nebula, its misty particles spinning and swirling with all the ships hiding in it.
Oh,
muttered Styx.
As if that's any better.
Outstanding navigation, Lieutenant Styx. Well done. She twisted in her chair and flung back a beaming smile.
Thank you, sir.
Jimmy Eden spoke from comms.
Sir, we're being hailed. What should I do?
I don't know, Jimmy. What do you think we should do? Eden's eyes bulged, his face flushing, and beads of sweat springing up on his brow. He hesitated, and then made a throat-cutting gesture, brows lifting inquisitively. No, Jimmy. We can't cut transmission until we've answered the hail.
Oh, right. Sorry, sir. I was just assuming, sir, should I open channels?
Good idea, Jimmy.
There's a football game on Channel 18, sir. How about that?
No, Jimmy. Wrong channel. How about we stay on affiliation fleet comms frequency, suitably tight beam and encrypted, and establish a link with the AFS portentous smug pomposity instead?
Oh, you mean answer Admiral Jebediah Prim's repeating hail attempts?
Yes, those. Good idea. Go to it, Jimmy. The main screen flickered, briefly showed an Italian striker getting his coif lightly rustled by an opposing player and then falling down and writhing on the grass, and then the image flipped to Admiral Prim in his ship's stateroom. At Prim's side was a woman with a politician's face. Supercilious, sanctimonious, vacuous, terrified, smarmy, disingenuous, small-minded, vengeful, cold-hearted, opportunistic, petty, deceitful, evidence-ignoring, bullying, arrogant, smug, obnoxious, contemptuous, ignorant, reactionary, condescending, patronizing, blinkered, vacillating, corrupt, morally bankrupt, blackmailing, blackmailable, dodgy, wavering, backstabbing, bought, sold, stinking rich, unqualified, sleazy, teeth-capped, kneecapping, corporate-owned, hate-mongering, fear-mongering, button-pushing, deflecting, evading, brazening, hit song-stealing, nostalgia-worshipping, distorting, no-tax-returning, tax-evading, offshore-holding, shady business partnering, election-stealing, arms-dealing, collateral damage signing-offing, hypocritically family-value-bleeding but sexually devianting, honest, forthright, honorable, a paragon of integrity, lying, spiteful, unreliable, Teflon-coated, saran-wrapped, white-breaded, xenophobic, cynical, uncomprehending of ironying, witless, thin-skinned, insecure, unfulfilled, blindly ambitious, power-hungry, sadistic, self-righteous, incapable of contemplationing, prevaricating, privileged, pampered, Ivy League-educated, in something useless like political science, economics, or law, pompous, ego-centered, narcissistic, shallow, bullshitting, manipulative, backtracking, quote-denying, what-climate-changing, alternate-truthing, prejudice-feeding, hate-inciting, racketeering, blame-shifting, warmongering, autocratic, megalomaniacal, possibly sociopathic, blathering, self-serving, unreliable, cliquey, cagey, crafty, cunning, daft, dull, ethically destitute, irredeemable, oil-burning, fracking, but NIMBY, self-pay-raising, self-congratulating, self-aggrandizing, but all that was just first impressions, so who can say?
Captain Hadrian, what the fuck were you doing putting me on hold?
Technical glitch, Admiral. But here we are, sir. Prim frowned, but then nodded.
Whatever. Let me introduce you to Director Soma de Luster, the initial point of contact for these accords with the Radulac. Director?
Captain Sawback, pleased to meet you. I'm sure there is no real need for me to emphasize once again the delicacy of these negotiations. The Clang surrender has triggered an economic meltdown of galactic proportions right across the entire affiliation. Markets have crashed, hyperinflation has crippled our industries, unemployment is sky-high, mortgages are defaulting everywhere, banks are getting bailed out, and CEO bonuses reduced by as much as 3%. Following the slew of erroneous, ill-considered fiscal transactions conducted within bubbles, no one could have anticipated would ever pop, and under such circumstances, a protracted war with the Radulac could see our non-human allies exhibit the typical short-sighted non-human response of behaving no better than rats fleeing a sinking ship. No, we must all tighten our belts here and stay the course. But as I'm sure I don't need to tell you, keeping our allies with us is like herding diseased, vermin-ridden rats. But really, what choice do we have if we want to maintain our present position as the virtuous front-runners of trickle-down universal prosperity?
No, said Hadrian. You don't need to remind me of all that. Furthermore, I'm pleased to confirm my first impressions of you, Director. Now then, I understand the Radulac will only broker this treaty through me. Both Soma and Prim quickly nodded. Hadrian's eyes narrowed. Prim smiled. And most fortuitous that you happened to be close by. Well, if halfway across the galaxy qualifies as close by, yes, most fortuitous, Admiral. Now, sir and madam, what can you tell me about the Radulac in charge over on the Bombast flagship?
A truly honorable individual,
said Soma eagerly.
The decorated veteran Supreme Admiral Drenchmaster Drown You All in My Magnificence, Bill Burt, represents a new breed of Radulac in the Imperial Command. A paragon of integrity seeking only peace between us. Of course, a lot of prestige is riding on Bill Burt succeeding in these negotiations. Indeed, she offers up a singular and thus precarious hope for both the future of the Radulac Empire and for the affiliation. I can't emphasize enough the importance of this most delicate moment in galactic history.
Prepare your vessel's stateroom, Captain, said Prim, and provide the Radulac with displacement coordinates. Everything will be preceded by a formal supper in which you will offer only the finest Radulac victuals. I'm sending you a Radulac-supplied menu contents upgrade container for your galley chefs. From this point onward, Captain, you're on your own. Do us proud. Prim out. The screen flickered, returned to the football game. The Italian was still writhing, but now he was strapped to a stretcher, being attended to by a half-dozen paramedics and one overwrought stylist. The Italian play-by-play announcer was shrieking in outrage. Mute that, please, Eden. Sir? Eden, look at me. Good. Now, see me making this throat-cutting gesture? Remember that one? Good. Now do it. Wait, no, don't actually cut your own throat. Just mute that screaming idiot, please. Oh, sorry, sir. I get so confused. It's all right, Eden. We have medication for that. So take yourself down to the sick bay and get Pulaski to take your station. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Take it where? Just get Pulaski up here, will you? Now, Sindower, your thoughts on our impending guests? Sindower turned from the side station.
Well, sir, I think we're about to be betrayed by just about everyone.
And those ships hiding in the conveniently cloudy nearby nebula?
Trace ion signatures of multiple affiliation Radulac Ectopalau, Pure Algani, Misanthari, Polker, Ahakan, and Clang vessels, sir. Oh, and one bulging bag vessel protected by a fleet of purses.
Wow. The whole shebang. No temporal bubble vessels?
Not yet. No, there's one. No, not yet. No, there's...
Thank you, 2IC. I get the picture.
That soccer player just died!
Styx gasped.
Oh my God!
She leapt from her chair and ran up to stand in front of the screen that was now showing a close-up of the soccer star's pallid, lifeless face.
Someone take a shot of us! Hurry!
Hadrian gathered his senior officers in the tiny storage locker that passed for his office. The cramped confines forced Sindower to sit perched on his side of the desk, legs crossed, directly, as it turned out, in front of the captain, who had begun sweating. Buck stood with his back against the door, eyes wild in claustrophobic panic. Gulk leaned close to the weapons locker, surreptitiously trying to pick the lock. Adjutant Tig was pressed up against another wall, cleaning her nails with a bowie knife. Printlip was squeezed in the corner of the room, statically trapped up near the ceiling, squeaking with every breath, while Tammy, the chicken, pecked at Buck's shoelaces.
Sir,
ventured Sindower, her folded leg slowly rocking, toes pointed, the black velvet stiletto dipping down in time to reveal flashes of her heel as she swiveled her ankle.
Perhaps we should have conducted this briefing in the stateroom?
Hadrian ran a trembling hand across his brow. What? No, I mean, the ping-pong table is getting a tablecloth, and lots of chairs are being moved in, and, silverware. Tons of silverware and tureens and stuff. Now, let's get rocking. I mean, let's get on with this meeting.
If I could weep,
said Tammy. We should run, said Buck. Right now, as fast and as far away as we can get. The whole galaxy's going to go up in flames and burning balls of gas and cheap knockoffs of everything. It's all falling apart, infrastructure collapsing, cynicism breeding, library fines going unpaid. We're on the terminal slide down in the moribund spiritual exhaustion, begging for nothing more than one final bullet to the head to end the interminable misery.
Outstandingly succinct, Buck, said Gulk, lifting a hand to high-five the chief engineer. You're so right. It's all pointless, a waste of time. It's every man, woman, and child out for him or herself. The poor deserve to be poor, and the sick deserve to be sick, and wealth is proof of virtue, and power belongs to all the superior stick-up-the-ass fuckers born into wealth with God's own blessing, and the sooner we stick a nuke in the whole mess, the better off the universe will be.
Wrong, Tige snapped. The sooner you're all lined up for the firing squad, the better. Dissenting opinions and unpleasant truths are acts of treason under Article 54, 45B. The wrong questions in question period justify prosecution under the Politician Protection Act of 2019. Complaining is subject to prison, a raised eyebrow earns a hefty fine, and the only acceptable salute is a shaking fist and inarticulate bellows of hate. In fact, there isn't a single crime you lot haven't already committed, and I'll see you all burned, hung, quartered, assaulted, tortured, renditioned, imprisoned, shot, and lethally injected.
Oh, dear, cried Printlip from the ceiling. Frothometer redlining. Drugs are required immediately.
Hadrian leapt to his feet, leapt onto the desk, leapt across to land in front of Lauren Tige in three deft leaps. He took her into his arms and kissed her hard.
Ah! Get away from me!
Hadrian then swung round, reached out and twisted Gulk's nose. Snap out of it, Lieutenant! And you, Buck, take a handful of happy pills for crying out loud. Now, anyone else ready to fall apart? No? Good. He released Gulk's nose, and the combat specialist gagged.
I swallowed my jaw.
Hadrian faced Sindower. You have command of the Willful child in my absence. I will be bringing Buck with me to the negotiations. In the meantime, we all play nice at supper with the Radulac.
Me, sir?
Buck asked, paling. That's right. And make sure you bring your multiphasic.
But they're all planning something.
Of course they are. And we ride the wave no matter where it takes us.
But why, sir? They're lining up to backstab us.
Hadrian slapped Buck on the shoulder. Adventure, Buck. It's why we're here. He turned in time to block Tige's attempt at stabbing him with the bowie knife, quickly disarmed her and then patted the top of her head. Everyone but Tammy. Dismissed. Get dolled up for supper, dress uniforms, makeup, bling, spit and polish. Wait. Save the spit for the Radulac, since I'm sure they'll have plenty to spare.
You'll pay,
hissed Lauren Tige.
For everything, especially those kisses.
Once everyone but the chicken had departed, Hadrian went back to sit at his desk.
Why do you do that?
Tammy asked, flapping up to land on the desk. Do what?
Kiss her. It's sexist, objectifying, verging on
Nonsense. Snoopy.
I'm sorry, what?
Check your fragmented archives, Tammy. Why, if the adjutant were a man, I'd do the same. Snoopy.
The cartoon dog?
Get mad at Snoopy and he slobbers you with a giant kiss.
But that was a dog! With humans, it's different!
There you go, reciting verbatim all the usual xenophobic exceptionalisms. You're better than that, Tammy.
Am I? Then why haven't you kissed me?
Why, because you're nothing more than a self-deluded AI, nothing but circuits and wires and stuff, not to mention the occasional holographic projection of domestic fowl. Might as well kiss my electric shaver.
Oh, that really hurts.
Rubbish.
Okay, you're right. You are incapable of hurting me, insulting me, offending me, etc., but clearly you possess a hateful prejudice against sentient machines.
Well earned. You stole my ship, you beat up and imprisoned the ship's own AI, you commandeered maintenance robots and smashed up a squad of Marines. Speaking of which, that reminds me why I asked you to stay. Lieutenant Sweepy Brogan and her squad have a new mission, which I want you to pass on to her immediately. Where is she right now, by the way?
Lieutenant Brogan and her squad are presently playing D&D with the lieutenant herself being the dungeon master. The party of adventurers, consisting of a mage with a wand of prismatic spray, an elven thief with a +1 bow, a cleric with a +1 mace, a ranger with a pet hawk, a paladin with +2 armor, and a dwarf with a +2 axe, are moments from breaking into the crypt of the necromancer to retrieve the ring of resurrection. The only foes between them and the loot, apart from the necromancer himself, are 7 halfling goblins.
Really? What a crap adventure.
Unbeknownst to the adventurers, the goblins are armed with grenade launchers.
Ah.
The lock is picked. They're in. They see the halfling goblins. An arrow flies from the thief and misses. Critical failure. The bowstring snaps. The hawk whirls into the air, talons opening wide. A grenade intersects it. Explosion! Feathers drifting down. A curtain draws back to reveal the necromancer on the altar, positioned behind a .50 caliber machine gun on a tripod. He unleashes a hail of bullets. The thief's head disappears in a spray of bits of meat and bone. A grenade jams in the grill of the paladin's helmet. It explodes, ripping his face off and sending shrapnel deep into his brain. He fails his saving throw and is stunned and will bleed out in 2 rounds. The dwarf is hit by 93 bullets, his body recoiling from the multiple impacts in super slow motion. Blood everywhere! His beard catches fire! The cleric throws a heal spell. 2 points back to the dwarf, but he's taken 436 points of damage. He's dead! A secret trap door opens up underneath the cleric, and he falls into a pit filled with 3-headed sharks and a pool of acid. The cleric fails his first save, and his legs are eaten off below the knees. He makes his second saving throw, avoiding being stunned, so he gets to watch as the sharks and acid eat the rest of him down to the bones. He dies screaming. The ranger draws his sword. He's hit by 7 grenades and 221 bullets. He bursts apart in a conflagration of bloody feathers, burning nest fragments and hard-boiled hawk eggs. The mage fires his wand. All the goblins saved. The necromancer is unaffected. He laughs. A giant sphere of annihilation devours the mage. The entire adventuring party is dead.
Adrian sighed and rubbed his eyes. I'm waiting.
The players have attacked the dungeon master. This could go on for a while. It's pretty nasty. I see knives out and a baseball bat. Oh, Sweepy connects with a kick between Charles, not Chuck's, legs. He misses his saving throw and is down. Muffy Slap throws a knife. Sweepy dodges, swings her bat. Critical hit. Muffy's stunned. Skulls jumps on her back, stabs with his knife. It glances off her battle armor. She flings herself against a wall. Skulls' head snaps back. He's concussed. Chambers throws a chair. Miss. He takes a 20D to the center of his forehead. He's stunned. Lefty Limb's biting her ankle. She stops down. Oh, dear. Stables tries a heal. Compress applied. 2 points back for Lefty Limb. And man, did he need it, but that nose will need major reconstruction. Bat swings and splits Stable's ear. He wails. Sweepy leaps onto the table, laughing.
Stop! Okay, Tammy. When they're all out of sick bay, pass on to the lieutenant the following mission. The Insistion hummed with its built-in but entirely unnecessary sound effects, and an instant later 2 Radulac Drench Masters appeared, one wearing rhinestone-glittering black leather armor, and the other an eye patch and a Verican leather jacket that said Tom's Towing on the breast. The first Radulac slopped down from the dais.
I am Supreme Admiral Drenchmaster, drown you all in my magnificence, Bill Burt. And this is my executive officer, Snuffle Drenchmaster Bang.
Welcome aboard the AFS Willful Child, said Adrian. I am...
Oh, we know who you are. Captain Adrian Allen Sawback. Indeed, we possess fold-out hollow posters of you in our weapons target room.
How delightful. And this is my second officer, Commander Hallie Sindauer, and our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Printlip, along with Chief Engineer Buck DeFrank, Combat Specialist Gulk, and last but certainly not least, Affiliation Adjutant Lauren Tighe.
What about me?
Tammy demanded, feathers ruffling. Right. And Hollow Robot Whatever Chicken, Wynette Tammy, rogue AI from the future. Bill Burt unleashed a massive gobbet of phlegm, slamming down on the chicken and flattening it to the floor.
Formal greetings. Wynette Tammy.
My Neutrotronic processor is overheating in a blaze of algorithmic projections of potential vengeance scenarios,
said Tammy from beneath the slimy gob.
Funny chicken,
said Bang, fingering her eye patch.
Now we are hungry.
She pointed at her stomach.
We don't like to complain, but down here below, we are feeling great pain. Food! Delicious food and snail puke wine. I can't wait.
Right, said Hadrian. Well then, please follow me. A short time later, they were all seated around the cloth-covered ping-pong table, upon which, to either side of the green net, various tureens had been placed, each containing an array of genuine Radulac delicacies. Carafes of thick snail-puke wine were being passed around, the two Radulac drooling and snapping their thick lips. Bang offered Hadrian a bowl.
Do you like grated human baby legs and penis spam? I do so like them. Bang, I am. I do so like grated human baby legs and penis spam.
Sindauer gagged.
Human baby legs?
said Bill Burt.
Relax. No dismemberment of living human babies is required. Not since we attained the mapped human genome permitting VAT cloning of select body parts. But I assure you, my dear, the penis spam is the real thing. Culled from the many thousands of male human prisoners we have collected up over the past 40 or so years, which you know nothing about. That said, we have the finest human male choir in the galaxy.
Bang leaned closer to the Supreme Admiral.
Sir, perhaps it was unwise to reveal the fact of our many human prisoners. I did no such thing. But now you have spilled the masticated beans for all to hear. No, I didn't. I said nothing. But I'm sure you did.
Hadrian cleared his throat. Shall we play back the conversation of the past 5 minutes?
No!
Both Radulacs barked. Gulk, who was seated opposite Bang, now said,
Snuffle-drenched master, that's an interesting jacket you are wearing.
Yes, it is. Stripped from an utterly drowned Verican who looked a lot like you. A suitable trophy to mark my great victory. In the bathroom of Truck Stop 27 on the Epsilon Eridani Alpha Centauri run. Get it? Suitable? Jacket? The fool suspected nothing, since I was wearing a hollow vest that transformed me into an innocuous prophylactic dispenser.
Uh-huh,
Gulk murmured. Bang then tapped her eye patch.
For that I paid this eye. A worthy exchange? I think so.
Gulk used his napkin to wipe the spit from his face. Bang banged the table.
More fun required. As the famous Radulac wordsmith, Drincher Brian Zeus once said, we've got to make noise in greater amounts.
Another fist hammered the table, making the cutlery bounce.
Everyone, drink more wine. And you, fellow woman second in command, try some of these pickled earworm eggs.
Mm-hmm,
said Sindauer.
Thank you, but no. Not to my taste, alas.
You do not like them, you say? So you say. Try them and you may.
Oh, for crying out loud, cut in Hadrian. If you keep mangling one of my favorite human writers of the 20th century, I just might...
Human thieves! Bang cried, stealing our most famous Radulac artists. Calm yourself, said Bilbert to her XO. One must be indulgent for now. I mean, before we betray all these humans with a devastating surprise attack following the signing of the Accords. This is not yet the season of our discontent, after all. Let your patience pool deep and quiescent. Yes. Supreme One, Bang hissed and sprayed. You just revealed our plans of betrayal. I did not. Shh, or they will hear your careless words.
Well, said Hadrian, half rising, this has been a most delightful evening. Of course your quarters have been prepared for you, and we do hope you find them to your liking. Until the negotiations begin tomorrow, I bid you good night.
Most wise, purred Bang. And I must temporarily return to the I saw no need to mention my mother's mustache to, groom my pubic hairs.
Bilbert frowned.
Now, Snuffle Drunchmaster? Comportment waits for no woman, Supreme One. But I will rejoin you shortly. Very well,
Bilbert belched, and then regurgitated onto the table everything she'd eaten and drunk.
Ah, most excellent meal. So excellent I will eat it again.
It was the graveyard shift on the bridge. At every station was someone nobody would recognize. There was acting Captain Sissy Weirdguy, engrossed in a tattered copy of The Tao of Pooh Bear Redux. There was acting head of security Odo Meter, a shape-shifting conglomeranian from beyond the neat-looking wormhole at the edge of the Kardashian sector, whose homeworld of conglomerania was a tiny lake of pond scum because, well, where else would an omnipotent species of highly advanced we-can-be-anything-we-want polymorphs live but in a scummy pond? There was the acting XO, Bayleaf Nosebash, from the recently liberated planet of Beige, not that anyone noticed, while at the science station sat the trilling symbiont IJKL, whose endless trilling was driving everyone else mad. "Status report?" Sissiko inquired of no one in particular. The others all hesitated, and then Bayleaf said, "All systems nominal, sir." "Just once!" snapped the acting captain. "Just once! It'd be nice to have something happen on our shift. Oh, what's the point? Never mind. Someone phoned down to the Phalange bar on deck 47. I want a pina colada and a pickled onion sent up here immediately." "Bro, on it, sir," said IJKL, scratching at the facial rash everyone else thought was a tattoo. "Pray, patching the order through to Obnox. That'll be 3 bars of laudanum." "That would be vials, surely." He said bars, sir. I think Ob's a bit confused again, it being the middle of the night." "Look outside!" Sissiko cried. "It's always the middle of the night. Anyway, seems I left my wallet in my quarters. Odometer, you wouldn't happen to—" "Oh, fine," muttered the conglomeranian, transforming into 3 vials of laudanum. "Ha!" barked Sissiko. "Won't Obnox be surprised?" "Hardly, sir," said Bayleaf, "since you do this to him just about every time." "Are you calling me cheap, XO?" "No, just abusive of your rank." "Ha! Aren't we all?" He then lifted into view a baseball. "Someone play catch with me." A chorus of groans answered him. "No, really! It's an order! You, Nosebash, here! A wicked curveball!" He whipped the baseball her way. She made a desperate attempt to grab it, failed, and the ball shattered a screen on her console. "Oh, crap, not again," she said. "At least this time it wasn't your nose." "Ha ha!" Sissiko laughed. The door hissed open, and in strode the Phalange Obnox. a tray balanced on one hand. At which point, the ship's artificial gravity crashed. Pina Colada and Pickled Onion leapt skyward. The baseball rolled into the air and then raced toward an air duct. Yelping, Sissiko floated out of the command chair. The 3 vials of laudanum lifted off the chair where Odo Meter had been sitting. Alarms blared, the lights went out. On the main screen, a warship materialized out of nowhere and fired a slew of depleted uranium pellets. The impacts rocked the Willful Child, sending bodies flying. Sissiko made a desperate grab for the Pickled Onion. He missed. Pandemonium. Amid klaxons and flashing red lights, the door to the guest quarters opened, and in strode a figure in a spacesuit, wearing magnetic boots and wielding a primed Globomaker Splat Gun Mark III. Flailing, Supreme Admiral Bill Burt drew up her blanket in a futile gesture of modesty before the Globomaker fired. Bits of Bill Burt splatted in eponymous globules everywhere, morphing bulbs of Radulac blood spinning and dancing in the zero-G. Close up on the gore-splattered teddy bear floating near the pillow. Still staring at the teddy bear on the screen, Hadrian sighed. Now we're in for it. He threw on his special velour gold shirt. Tammy! Ship status. How badly were we hit?
Modest, Captain, and the timing was off besides.
Meaning?
The cloaked ship should have fired before the gravity crashed. Instead, it's obvious that we were sabotaged and betrayed by a crew member and, 3 guesses who's not in her quarters, and isn't that a nice Bowie knife on your dresser? I warned you. Didn't I warn you?
And I saw no need to mention my mother's mustache?
Powering up weapons, screens on, and Snuffle-Drench Master Bang is hailing Admiral Prim even as we speak. Mutual exchanges of horrified outrage. Captain, they'll hand you over. You know that, don't you? You'll go on trial on the Radulac homeworld.
Oh dear, whatever will we do? Hadrian deftly sailed across to the door, manually overrode the lockdown, and pulled himself into the corridor beyond. He tapped his comms. Buck, wake up! Meet me in the Insistion chamber at once. Sendower, invoke Contingency Plan Delta Epsilon 23B. Prentlip, get to the Supreme Admiral's quarters and begin collecting as much useless and bound-to-be disregarded evidence as you can. Gulk, activate the homing beacons we secretly installed on every spacesuit in storage and track down our rogue affiliation security officer. And then, lock her up. As he delivered his commands, Hadrian sailed down the corridors, reaching the Insistion chamber. Another override, and he entered the room, moving across to the station comms. Captain Hadrian to Admiral Prim. The small console screen flickered, revealing the Admiral's suitably stern visage. Captain Sawback, prepare to be boarded by my security team. As soon as they displace, you will surrender your command of the Willful Child and place yourself and your incompetent chief engineer into the custody of my officers. You will then be escorted to the Radulac flagship, now under the command of new Supreme Admiral Drenchmaster Bang, which will depart the system to deliver you to a Radulac court of instant justice on the Radulac homeworld Radish, whereupon you will be found guilty of innumerable crimes and sent to a prison planet to dwell in misery and infamy forevermore. And if I'm innocent, Admiral, don't be ridiculous. All the evidence points to you. And he lifted into view a sheet of paper. I have the damning list right here, which I've already signed. It wasn't enough that you killed thousands of Radulac and destroyed 3 bombast warships. No, your hatred of the Radulac is known to everyone, and now the peacemaker Bill Burt is nothing more than blobs of blood and twice-digested foodstuffs, and it'll be all we can do to salvage the Kitty Meow Accords under the threat of imminent galactic war. Buck had arrived by now, checking the batteries on his multiphasic. Very well, Admiral, said Hadrian. I will comply with your orders, of course. A request, however. I would like Commander Sindower to take command of the Willful Child. Not a chance. I'm sending a reliable officer to take charge over there who will accompany my security team. No. All that close association with you and your criminal mind has no doubt tainted everyone presently on your ship. I suspect their careers will never recover, in fact. Oh, and as for your rogue AI Wynette Tammy, well, it will be dismantled and examined and reverse-engineered at the earliest opportunity. Oh, yeah, good luck with that, sir. Excuse me? Are you ready to send over your security team now, Admiral? The face scowled. I am. Director Soma DeLuster pushed her way onto the screen, elbowing Prim in the temple. She smiled cruelly at Hadrian. I don't need to tell you. You're right, Director, you don't, so shut up, will you? Hadrian out. Commander Sindower stood with hands clasped behind her back as the new captain stepped onto the bridge.
Sir, welcome to the Willful Child.
The short, bald, middle-aged man paused and looked round at all the officers standing at attention. He tugged at his shirt. I am Captain John Lucky Placard, he said in stentorian tones. Do any of you know how I earned that epithet? I will tell you. I was a mere comms officer aboard the AFS Century Warbler, under the command of Captain Hans Olo. In the moment of insurrection by the Clang Prince Hazel Norfang, I managed to initiate an emergency displace, thus evading the pheromonal biochemical override that afflicted everyone else on board the vessel. The singular act of genius has earned me accolades and promotion, and now here I am, commanding my first Engage-class starship.
So,
said Helmsticks.
You, bailed out on everyone else and now you're a captain? Fuck me, sir. Whose ass did you, lick? Oh, and are you, the last bald guy in the galaxy? There's creams for that, you know? Duh.
Spark trotted up to halt before Placard. I am Ensign Spark, robot guard dog. Can I play catch with your head, sir? Catch? Catch! Please, oh please, oh please! Beta said,
It's well known that bald men secretly concoct physiological studies asserting higher levels of virility among bald men.
James Jimmy Eden suddenly said, I'm your comms officer, and I came in 4th in the Olympics, and I'm sorry. Ah! He fell to his knees, bawling. Tammy's voice now rang out from all the speakers.
And I'm the mad AI in charge of every system on this ship. And you'll never catch me! Ha 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 ha!
Placard turned and ran from the bridge.
Huh,
said Styx.
that was weird.